All right, you guys, guess what day it is? It's finally here. Finally did another successful closing. The closing actually happened last week. So I wanted y'all to take a ride with me. So you guessed it, we're on the way to the title company. So just a little background about this particular deal. And when I say background, I mean ARV, profit margin, all just the whole rundown, like how I met the buyer, what's going on with the seller, blah blah blah. So ultimately I got this deal off of an absentee owner list. Of course, you guys already know that I have my beloved cold caller doing my cold calls. So, you know, once she confirmed that this particular buyer was like ready to sell, then, you know, of course I just came in there. I started off with a text message. I, you know, hit him with a couple of offers. We talked on the phone. We built up a little rapport, and he was okay with my numbers. So we went ahead and we did it. We did the thing. We did it. But ultimately, so we did the thing. The numbers look right. ARV I was tracking was about like 130,000. He wanted at least 50,000 for the property, which was great. Which was absolutely, frankly, it was golden. It was completely golden, because my numbers came around, I want to say, as far as the asking price to be like around $61,000, either $61,000 or $62,000, as far as me asking a potential buyer, like, hey, like, come on, like, get this for $62,000, help a sister out. So the fact that he only wanted 50,000, which was actually under my max allowable offer, my MAO, my max allowable offer was actually 51,000. Like, I was just like, all right, bet. Like, when are we gonna do this? So the difference about this particular buyer, and frankly, I don't recommend doing this at all, but I ended up doing it, is that this particular buyer wanted a non-refundable, not buyer, seller. This particular seller. This seller wanted a non-refundable earnest money deposit. So typically us as wholesalers, we don't really do non-refundable on the end of the seller. But the numbers were too good, to be honest, for me to pass up. So I did a $500 non-refundable earnest money deposit, and we signed the deal. So I got the property under contract for $50,000. I found a buyer, and the buyer I actually found through one of, you know, my local REI investment groups. She was interested. We've actually been talking for probably about a good 4 months before this actually popped off as something that she was actually interested in. So I did my walkthrough. I met the seller at the property. Mind you, family, there's tenants that live in this property, so definitely had to be respectful, definitely had to be mindful, especially since we're dealing with the COVID pandemic still happening. But walked through, took pictures, sent it over to my buyer, and she was just like, bet, sign me up. And I was like, okay. I was like, fine, of course, like, let's get this under contract. But of course, you know, she came in with the, all right, Ashley, like 60 something's a little expensive, because I think I was asking for 68,000 at the time, you know, trying to get a clean 18,000 assignment fee. And she was just like, okay, I can't do 68,000, but I can do 58. Family, with tenants still in the property, even though I'm pretty sure if I shopped it around with more buyers, because I had it was a lot of heat on this property. I'm pretty sure if I shopped it around with more buyers, I would have had a larger assignment fee. But the one thing, family, that I was a little nervous about, not gonna lie, is that this property had tenants. So the typical fix and flipper, as you guys already know, is not going to be looking for a property that has tenants inside, because it's not like they can, you know, do what they will with the property and then on top of that, like, resell it. So it took a special buyer for this particular property. The fact that her goals, the end buyer's goals, were basically long-term buy and hold, linked up perfectly for this property. And even though it was basically a $10,000 drop, which, you know, what can you do? Like, you know, ultimately you can't count your money before you got it. But because of the tenant factor, and because, like, we've been texting back and forth, we've been, you know, talking to each other about deals and stuff like that, and I was just like, all right, bet. So long story short, it went from a 16,000, was it like around 16,000 spread to an 8,000 spread. And family, you guys already know that I have my partner, my beloved partner. So of course, you know, we tag team deals all the time. So obviously, this is cut in half for me. So my takeaway with this particular property is $4,000. So let's get back to the payday review.
Call the pocket rocket if it's war. We ain't playing games, bitch. We get it started. I'm the man, claim to keep 100, nigga. We ain't playing games. We hit you and your mama. Know that chopper, that's that oppa stopper. Hit you and your pop. I fell in love with all this fucking money. You in love with drama. Say,